5 biggest reasons why African Americans love Ghana. Hello Displorers, welcome to another exciting video presented to you by Displorer, and thanks for watching. In this video, we shall be presenting to you 5 biggest reasons why Black Americans love Ghana. In 1957, Ghana became one of the first sub-Saharan African nations to gain independence from colonial rule. And over the next decade, hundreds of African Americans, including Martin Luther King Jr., George Patmore, Malcolm X, Maya Angelou, Richard Wright, Pauli Murray, and Muhammad Ali, visited or settled in Ghana. Since then, other African Americans who are descended from slaves imported from areas within the present-day jurisdiction of Ghana and neighboring states have applied for permanent resident status in Ghana. As of 2015, the number of African American residents has been estimated at around 3,000 people, a large portion of whom live in Accra. As the United States again confronts its history of racism, as outrage again erupts over police killings, leaders in Ghana say they are rolling out the welcome mat for Black Americans who want to get away from the turmoil. If you're new here, welcome, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also turn on your notifications as we find out what draws most of these African Americans to Ghana. Now, 5 reasons why African Americans love Ghana. Number 5. Colonial independence in Ghana. Ghana's independence had an important impact on African American views of Africa. This is because, for the first time, Africa surpassed America in terms of not only what it seemed to represent symbolically, but also in terms of its objective reality. As a result, Black Americans looked to Ghana as that new promised land. As Ghana became a free nation, it carried the hopes and dreams of people who identified with the African continent. In that light, Ghana served as a symbol of inspiration to people of African descent that Africa was not the barbaric land that it was made out to be. It pushed Black Americans to recreate their view of post-colonial Africa and its possible futures. Ghana's imminent independence from British colonialism in 1957 was not only watched closely by other colonized Africans, but by the leaders of the civil rights movement in the US. Number 4. Equal rights. The campaign for equal rights for Black people in the US was at its height, and its leaders at the time felt a connection to this soon-to-be-free Black African country. Kwame Nkrumah, then Prime Minister of the Gold Coast, as the colony was known, was intent on making a political point along with the pomp and circumstance of new statehood. Ghana served as a place where Blacks could go to escape the racism that they had experienced in the United States, and the criticism they faced when they criticized the racist American society. Surrounded by Africans, African Americans felt that they could be reunited with long-lost relatives in their homeland. However, some argue that these perceptions of Africa by African Americans were detrimental to African American experiences in Ghana. Black Americans have often perpetuated an uncomplicated view of Africa as a vestigial homeland awaiting the return of its lost souls. Number 3. Charity and concern for the Ghanaian government for Black American community. The government has negotiated with local chiefs to earmark 500 acres of land near the nation's center for newcomers, carving out enough space for about 1,500 families. Survey and registration fees are waived for members of the African diaspora. The effect grew out of a public campaign called the Year of Return, which attracted a record number of tourists to the West African country last year, which is 4 centuries after the first slave ship reached Virginia, and aims to convert visitors to residents with special land deals, expatriate guides, and easy paths to citizenship. Number 2. After George Floyd, Ghana's simple message to African Americans: come home. As a series of protests and events to mark the life of George Floyd began in Minneapolis, a memorial was being held 10,000 kilometers away in Ghana's capital, Accra. Attended by the government representatives and a small socially distant group of African Americans living in Ghana, the memorial was held in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement and Floyd, who died on May 25, 2020, after a white police officer knelt on his neck for nearly 9 minutes during an arrest. Ghana has long courted the descendants of enslaved Africans to return home as tourists or to permanently resettle. Leading African American icons including Martin Luther King Jr., Maya Angelou, Muhammad Ali, and Malcolm X have either visited or lived in the country since independence in 1957. Number 1. Culture. The fabrics, prints, and clothing are certainly one of the most apparent and expressive outlets for Ghanaians. The vibrant colors of batik, swirling motifs of textiles, and the rich patterns of traditional woven kente cloth weave a striking portrait of people and their style of dress. Their fashion sense is beyond compare. Ghanaians manage to always look impeccable, even when you're sitting beside them wearing a sweat-soaked shirt and look like a mess after the same day of travel. The national dish of pounded cassava and yam is usually served with hot pepper soup and is like nothing you've ever eaten before. It's delicious, like many of its traditional meals, fun to eat, and a staple for most Ghanaians. As you walk through the street, you just might hear the rhythmic pounding as it is being prepared, and you'll begin to know from a distance what exactly is being made. Land. You may even see shirts enticing people to make fufu, not war, in the markets. And one of the first questions a local may ask you is, have you eaten fufu? Ghana's landscape is a beautiful mosaic of waterfalls, rolling mountains, crystal white beaches, and winding red dirt roads through the countryside. Whether you're into hiking, surfing, canoeing, the country is jam-packed with breathtaking natural gems and incredible biodiversity. There are many national parks to be visited, such as Kakum National Park, which is home to the only canopy walk in all of Africa, and Mole National Park, where you could spot some wild elephants or antelopes from your jeep if you're lucky. Ghana is also home to the Willy Falls, the tallest waterfalls in all of West Africa. Not only is it a beautiful natural wonder, but the strenuous hike to get to it reveals to you what you're capable of and makes the cool rushing water of the falls all the more refreshing. The local folks of Ghana have a hospitality that is unparalleled. One moment you will be buying some potatoes and peppers for stew, and the next minute the seller will be offering to take you to her home to meet her family and insisting that she make you dinner. Ghana is where you live what you believe. It is loving your neighbor and loving the world at the same time. And in order to connect with others, we have to let people matter, to allow them as individuals be as important as humanity as a whole. Even if it is just by greeting people that you pass on the street with good morning, or a 2-hour conversation with an elder you just met, each person you meet in Ghana has the potential to enrich your personal outlook and views, and they're only a warm smile away. No doubt African Americans take permanent residence in Ghana. Here is a bonus for staying up until now. What is the year of return? Names connect Africans with place and family. The absence of a name represents the absence of a history. When names were taken from slaves, individuals were severed from their ancestry. So for a Black American to be named in Ghana was to be reattached to a community. That reconnection was what Ghana's president, Nana Akufo-Addo, had in mind when he announced that 2019 would be a year of return. The tourism initiative invited Black people from across the diaspora to return to the African continent in 2019 to mark the 400 years since slave ships leaving West African coast had carried their ancestors to the Americas. Many of those ships would have left from what is now Ghana. The region was at the center of the slave trade. Portuguese built castles along the coast, imprisoned captured Africans before sending them shackled and bare across the Atlantic. For Black Americans, a return to Ghana is a trip back to where the atrocities of African American slave history began. There you have it, Explorers, our 5 reasons why Black Americans love Ghana. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and share with a friend.